Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3, back once again with another exclusive interview. Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes with Impact star, future TNA star, Brian Myers. How you doing, Brian?
Good man. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, glad to have you. And you're well versed in the podcast game and the interview game. You got the mic ready and everything, but I
The most
wanted to
professional wrestler is a way of life, man. Not just a gimmick.
I see. Most professional wrestler, most professional podcaster, most professional at everything. And you're gearing up for a big time, like I said in the intro, Impact Wrestling transitioning into TNA starting in January 2024. What was kind of your reaction to this big change for the company that was announced at Bound for Glory?
Um, Super excited. I think there was a little hesitation, like, is this the right decision? And then the reaction has been so overwhelmingly positive from everybody. Then, even the shows we've done since, even the tapings the next day, they're chanting TNA like till their lungs collapse. So it's been really cool. It's been really exciting. It feels awesome to hear even just like an intro like that, like TNA star, Brian Myers. It's cool, man. It's definitely the right decision. It's created a really big buzz, and to me, the Impact product's been really good for so long now. There's finally like some eyes and interest in it, and it just feels right.
I feel like you have like kind of one of the kind of the most interesting stories when it comes to like your connection with TNA because you're one of the stars that kind of debuted, made their first appearance in the company when it was TNA, but you kind of came in as an outsider as part of Global Force Wrestling back in 2015. So how is kind of like the whirlwind you've been on since then? Everything that you've been through, going through WWE back to Impact Wrestling. How is it for you? Kind of that moment of 8 years later, it's TNA again.
Well, I mean, it's definitely cool. But I've just always been that guy. Like I've literally loved wrestling since I was 5 years old, and it doesn't matter what shape or size it comes in. You know what I mean? I discovered WWF when I was a kid, and then I found WCW because there was action figures, and then like, I eventually started finding tapes of stuff from internationals, and it's just like I could never get enough. So I've always appreciated wrestling in all shapes and sizes and forms. And I'm also like a day one TNA guy because I had that like hot box growing up, and I watched all those original Wednesday night pay per views and stuff. So it's always super cool and appreciative to be a part of it. And like I said, I think the company was a little hesitant if this was the right move, and it's been unbelievable, the response, right? I think people are nostalgic for it. I think the LOL TNA stink has worn off finally, and it's going to be the right move for the company, and it feels right. So I'm super excited to be a part of it.
I've interviewed a lot of Impact stars, and I told you at the beginning that I'm also from New York, but you've related with me so much when you said the hot box, the black box, because I
Hot box, baby. Because I begged my dad to get it. He finally got it. I'll never forget. He summer of '99, and the first thing I saw was SummerSlam '99, and then shit until I went to college, I didn't miss one pay per view of any company. Period. I mean, ECW, WCW, WWE. I saw everything. So,
and that was convenient for us New York kids because especially when TNA started, the $10 pay-per-views.
oh,
That's a
that's
lot. That's a tough
for, for,
ask for the
40,
for the
40 bucks a month when you're God, what was I? I'm a pretty young kid, 16. I can't afford that.
Exactly, but when they make this big change, TNA, it's going to be at Hard to Kill, and at the event, the big main event has already been announced. Alex Shelley defending what is going to be the TNA World Championship against your tag team partner, the most professional wrestling gods tag team partner, Moose. What's your feeling going into this matchup? Because some fans have been saying you've been showing us signs of jealousy towards Moose that he has this big opportunity with the Feast of Fire case.
No, I think Moose and I are a well-oiled machine. We as a team, literally, the more matches we have, the more reps we get, the more unbelievably solid our chemistry gets. He's got the briefcase. I can't deny him that. And I'm just going to be there to support the guy. You know what I mean? He's my best friend. He's my partner in sneaker shopping. We got a good thing going. And to me, he is the complete package. He's a freaking star. He's undeniable. And I think it's only a matter of time till Vegas and time's up for Alex Shelley. So
Well, with his focus kind of being on there, do you like, is it still your goal for the most professional wrestling gods to win the TNA World Tag Team Championships from Chris Bay and Ace Austin in 2024?
Yeah, because the most professional wrestling gods are not a tag team. We're two top guys working as one. So any tag team in TNA is in deep shit when we're around because we could just mop the floor with them, right? So that's inevitable too. I want Moose to stay focused on Hard to Kill and the title. In 2024, we'll get what's ours. I'm not worried about it.
Well, like I said, this is the fans talking. This is not me talking. But
Right,
from what they've
I'm
been
hearing you.
seeing, what they've been seeing on Impact Wrestling, there's kind of been a little bit of a shaky ground with y'all ever since Bound for Glory, where you met up with another one of your former tag team partners, your best friend Matt Cardona. How has kind of been the difference between teaming with someone you've known for so long, like Matt Cardona, and someone that you've known for a couple of years now, but not as familiar being a tag team with, like Moose?
I mean, there's always a difference and there's a learning curve and stuff. I dig the dynamic between me and Moose. Like, I'm not a small guy by any means, but Moose is definitely a big guy. And we have that big guy, little guy thing that enables us to do different things that Matt and I could never do because Matt and I are literally the exact same size. So that's been fun for me. And like I said, the potential there is unlimited. And Matt threw me out of that friggin' gauntlet match. He's a carny scumbag, so we don't need to plug him anymore on this thing.
You just scrapped my next question, but that's
Well, you can ask him what is it about Matt's
no, I
about.
was gonna bring up that you and Matt, are a tag team in the ring, but you're also a tag team in the podcast world with the major figures podcast. I wanted to ask kind of like you're the most professional wrestler, you're the most professional podcaster. What's kind of been kind of advice that you can give for a creator or a podcaster out there in kind of like balancing that? Because I know me, I'm a parent, I have to balance that. I do other
It's
jobs
tough.
outside of this. It's a
Yeah,
tough
try
job,
try
but you're
explaining that to Mac Cardona who doesn't understand.
but you're a
Um,
professional wrestler, you're a parent, you have everything, and then you do the podcast on the side. How are you able to do that? And kind of what's the biggest challenges in that form of what you do?
it it is a balancing act and it is difficult, like anything in life. If it's worth doing, it's going to be hard to do. But what we've found in the podcast world, our success has come from being consistent. We've been doing over 5 years. We've never missed an episode. We've never missed a deadline. We've never broken a promise that we've made to our fans, a bonus episode, whatever. And then the other thing that's really worked for us is just being fully transparent and authentic. And if we mess up, we go, "Hey guys, we've messed up. This, went this way. Whatever." We're just very honest, and I think our fans have appreciated that the full honesty that we come to, and it starts from the whole collecting thing in the first place because it used to be so frowned upon. Like, oh, he collects toys, what a freaking nerd. But we've broken that stigma. Like, we're just like, oh man, I'm a blithering nerd about this stuff, and we spill our guts about it each and every week. So I think our fans see that side of us, that vulnerable side, if you will, and they can relate to us now a lot more.
All right, so are you still able to kind of be a collector and go out and have the time to find these rare action figures like you used to?
The real problem with that is, and this is a real boohoo me thing, I have everything I want. So like for me to just get wowed is really tough, really really tough. I mean, I go to ringside, I walk into Ringside Collectibles, or our partnership with them. I take whatever I want. That's never an issue. If something's in Target or whatever, a fan literally will get it for me and I'll just buy it off them in seconds. I don't have to like hunt things down. And there's nothing, I'm looking around my room right now, there's nothing vintage that I could possibly be looking for because I have everything. What I need is like deep cut holy grail stuff that isn't going to just fall into your lap.
Nah, you kind of have to just fall. You just have to be walking somewhere and it just
That I
catches
mean,
your
and
eye.
it does happen a few and far between, and it's very fun for me. Like I collect WWF Hasbro's autographed, and I've got every living guy, and I've got a lot of deceased guys, but I've hit a wall where I only need deceased guys, so it's not like an easy thing to come by. But I'll be doing a signing, and some fan be like, "I know someone's got a British Bulldog," and be like, "You do," and then they connect me on Facebook, and you cut a deal, and that's how I add something to my collection nowadays.
I'm gonna keep my eye open now. I feel like I said, I feel bonded to you, so I'll keep my eye
Nice.
open. If I find anything, I will definitely let you know. Going back to the professional wrestling world, like you said, you're a top guy, but you're also been in so many different great tag teams, and you're a former TNA World Tag Team Champion, a tag team champion in other promotions. I kind of view you kind of as a modern day Bobby Eaton, but out of all these tag teams that you've been with, can you give me kind of your like Mount Rushmore of your most memorable tag team partners?
Well, and Matt has to be number one for the longevity and the success, right?
Yeah.
Um, man, I love, you know what I love tagging with? I tell people this all the time. Me and Lance Archer, that little brief period that we
I
had,
love the gate crashers.
dude,
I'm a
we were like real in sync and had a real awesome thing going, and they just cut the legs out from underneath us for no reason. And I feel like if that had a little more time, I think it could have really been something cool. To me and Tyler Rex had a hell of a run. We worked our ass off because we were literally given nothing and we turned it into something. Um, I'm trying to think, man, there's so many. I mean, even Trevor Lee, who I didn't know like at all, like literally didn't know him. We were able to have some pretty awesome matches with the Wolves, considering like we had no relationship whatsoever. So that will always be cool. And that's how I met, Eddie Edwards and those guys that have become really great friends in my life. So I do appreciate tag wrestling. Later in my career, it's like I did so much tag wrestling and I've been so successful at it. I do lean more towards being a singles guy because I feel like I have more to prove in that department. So that's all.
what do you like, what is that kind of like that thought process in like wanting to kind of make that name and make that transition and like kind of view yourself in that light of you're a singles wrestler now and that kind of the tag team is in your past? How do you think you can kind of make that name and fulfill that?
I don't know. I mean, if I knew, I think if any wrestler knew, they would just bottle it and do it, right? I
Sure.
think it sounds cliche, but it is one of those things. It's like, well, if you don't want to be the champ, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. And I am a person that subscribes to that. I do think there's something to that. Like, granted, not everyone can be the champ. There's only one, but everyone should be striving for that success. I truly believe that. So I've never, July will be 20 years in this business. I've never lost sight of that. And you better believe it's a big goal of mine and a dream of mine to be the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
I believe, but I had to ask you, get through all the wrestling questions because I got to ask you the most important questions. Like I said it at the beginning before we started recording, I said it during the interview. We're both from New York. So I go to my crew, all my crew from Tru Heel Heat is from New York. And immediately when I asked them any questions for Brian Myers, my good
Oh
friend
boy.
Chris G is a big New
Mhm.
York Mets fan, and
Oh
he
boy.
was just asking from 0 to 10, how depressing was this last season?
Oh my God. -3. Brutal. Brutal. That's the most defeated I've ever been as a Mets fan, I think. Like I have a weird tolerance for like the defeat because I'm so used to it. But even I like stopped like kind of caring or watching like in July, which is very unlike me. And it was that bad. And I feel like it's only gotten worse. Like Craig Counsell just played the fuck out of us. I don't know what happened there. We randomly get the Yankees bench coach as manager. We could have just kept Buck. I don't understand what happened this whole. It's still a mess. It's still a mess.
And
We have
you,
no
you
pitching.
you keep taking my next question because I was
Man,
going to ask you, what do you think about the new manager?
we have no pitching. I mean, it's this weird whatever rumor that Pete's like a locker room cancer and they might potentially trade him is like wild to hear because I feel like he's a franchise guy and a homegrown guy, so that would be terrible. But it's rough, man. It's hard times. Yankees are having some hard times too, so that makes me feel a little better because I'm a Yankee hater. But man, it's rough. It certainly is rough.
Like,
You see DeGrom and Scherzer get a World Series, like holy shit, rough.
can you describe to the people that aren't from New York the kind of like the love that there is like from the Yankees? If the Mets lose, that's like us winning, and if you're a Mets fan,
It's
if the Yankees lose, that kind of softens the blow of losing.
it's demented, but it's like borderline almost equal for me. Like when the Yankees do something bad happens to the Yankees and then something good happens to the Mets, the way I feel is almost like equal, which is kind of sad. That's how much of a Yankee hater I am. But like I'm a Jets Knicks fan. Like I don't hate the Nets. I don't hate the Giants. I would root for them if they weren't playing them. Basically, I have no hard feelings. But the Yankees, woof, it's crazy.
I and this is kind of like the first year, like I'm a big basketball fan, but there's actually genuine optimism when it comes to the New York Knicks.
No, I
Like
love the Knicks. No, the
yeah,
Knicks are exciting.
it's actually
Yeah.
exciting with Jalen Brunson, with Julius Randle, former Laker great. I'm a Laker fan.
Okay.
But
I don't hate the Lakers though, man. I went on a Lakers deep dive because I was so into Winning Time and awesome show. Shout out Winning Time. I wish it wasn't canceled.
Brian, you're going
Um,
to make me angry again because I've
yeah,
been
yeah,
angry and ranting on
dude.
shows
How that show
about them
get canceled?
canceling.
How that show got? Even my wife watched that show with me. It was so good. But yeah, the Knicks are a fun team. They play hard, man. Jalen Brunson's such a hard nosed like gamer, like perfect guy for New York. I just feel like they're like one trade away maybe from something. A big man, maybe. You know, it's rough watching Porzingis work him last night, but yeah, they're really fun to watch. I mean, the Jets and Giants are atrocious. I got all my eggs in the Knicks basket right now. I'm all in.
He's like, I already got my blue and orange outfits from being a
Yeah,
fan.
I'm all. It works. It's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, this is so great. I had so much fun talking to you. But fun final question as we gearing up for TNA Hard to Kill. What is kind of your goals? What do you have your eye on? Because Moose is going to be busy with this Alex Shelley in the main event for the TNA World Championship. So, you've picked up a big win over Joe Hendry, a former digital media champion. Is your eyes back on that title, maybe? Or maybe even visiting the Alex Shelley's tag team partner, Chris Sabin, with the X Division Championship? What do you think?
Well, one, I adore the Digital Media Championship. I thought that run was super fun, and I thought I brought that title up, which I was really proud of. Um, I don't know if I necessarily need it back. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. And I think for once, I'm going to take a non-selfish route on this and just say, this is such a big event for TNA. I just want all eyes in the wrestling world on this event and this company, and I want them to see how great this company is that I've seen for the past 3.5 years and been a part of. Like literally we're ECW, man. We're the island of misfit toys. All these talented people, all these friends working together as one to create this really special product. And there's finally some buzz and some talk about it. And I want the wrestling world to listen the fuck up and see us. So I don't care what I do. I want to just be a part of it. At this point, you know what I mean?
I love you as just a person there, be a representative of TNA, because your story and how you've come up from getting down, picking yourself back up, and raising yourself with more success has been inspirational. But I had a great time talking to you, Brian.
Thanks,
Please,
man. Likewise.
please, please let the people know where they could follow, of course, TNA Impact Wrestling, where they could see you every single week Thursdays on Access TV, Impact Insiders, and of course yourself and the Major Figures podcast as
And
well.
buy the pay-per-view, guys. Don't be cheapskates and
Yes,
get the hot. You
yes.
can't no hot boxes here, all right?
They don't exist anymore. They don't
I guess
exist.
not.
They got rid of them, but
I guess
let the
not.
people know.
Yeah, TNA Wrestling, impactwrestling.com. I'm sure that's going to get rebranded by the time someone hears this, but at Myers_wrestling is where you can find all my stuff. And man, like I said, be a part of it because something special is certainly happening.
Indeed, I 100% agree with you there. So this has been Tru Heels BTR, Between the Ropes, with Impact/TNA star Brian Myers. I am SP3. We will see you next time. Peace, y'all.